What's up everyone, and welcome back to the Bold and the Beautiful 24 official channel. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button today. Let's get started. Hope appeared to be engaged to Carter until Liam informed her that he wants his family back. It's not that Carter's done anything wrong, but well, Liam went and almost died a couple of times, and Carter encouraged Hope to spend as much time with him as she could while there was still time, and that managed to stir up some emotions for Hope and also for Liam. He made it clear that he wanted Hope back for good when he realized that it was stupid of him to spend so much time out of Hope's life competing with other women. Meanwhile, Lee can't keep Luna under control. Sheila realizes how diabolical her granddaughter really is, and Luna is convinced she's carrying a miracle baby that will change her life. Let's see what's coming up on tomorrow's episode. Liam thinks if Carter loves Hope, he should be okay with ending their engagement so the two exes can reunite. We are unsure whether Carter would find the concept to be that innovative. Carter does not have a child with Hope, but Liam does. And you can bet he's going to use that in his reasoning of why Hope should put their family back together. Auntie Grandma Lee is so frustrated with Luna's obsession with boys, but doesn't realize how far Luna has gone. Sheila is aware that there is more to the Luna-Will story, but she can't tell anyone that Luna is alive, so she can't do much about it. Will and Electra are invited to the Forrester Mansion guest house for a special evening. Will Hope dump Carter for Liam? The Bold and Beautiful two relationships in trouble. First, Hope's engagement to Carter may be in jeopardy due to her growing closeness to Liam. After that, Katie tries to reassure Will when he worries that having an affair with a mysterious woman will completely end his relationship with Electra. Naturally, Luna's next crazy move could determine what happens next. Hope takes Beth to the Forrester offices, where she plays in some clothing racks while her mother talks to Ivy. "We all thought that we were gonna lose Liam," the Aussie Forrester says. When they found out that Liam had not actually developed a fatal brain tumor and that he still had many years to live, everyone was relieved. Especially Hope, who was by his side throughout the entire ordeal, and when Grace confessed to her lie. Liam's relationships with his family have also been strengthened by his newfound optimism. He tells Beth and Hope with joy, "You two are more important to me than anything." Carter stands off to the side with a scowl on his face as the two adults hold their child in a loving embrace. He and Hope are currently engaged to be married, but is he in danger of losing her to her ex? Don't inquire. Don't Tell Will was horrified to realize that the girl he drunkenly had sex with after the party was not his girlfriend, Electra, and now confides in his mother. He worries if Electra knew about that night, Mom. Katie, however, cuts him off. "You don't ever have to think about this mystery girl ever again," she insists. But the mystery girl is definitely thinking about him. The adoration that Luna has for Will only intensifies, but what will she do next? It appears that Will and Electra are actually going to go through with their plans to make love together for the very first time. She declares, "You are literally everything I've ever dreamed of in a guy." We see Will and Electra undressing and falling onto the bed as they make out, surrounded by candles. But is this real or just Electra's figment of her imagination? Hope seemed to be in a relationship with Carter until Liam revealed his desire to reunite with his family. Although Carter has not acted wrongly in this scenario, complications arise from the fact that Liam has faced life-threatening situations on multiple occasions. In a moment of kindness, Carter had encouraged Hope to spend as much time as possible with Liam, believing that he was nearing the end of his life. This closeness inevitably rekindled memories, emotions, and unresolved issues between the two former partners. Thus, when Liam expressed his intention to reclaim Hope permanently, a significant emotional transformation occurred. Hope realized that Liam had matured enough to understand that his previous competition with other women was a foolish squandering of valuable time, and that he should have been focusing on the family he already had with her. These revelations struck her deeply, in ways that Carter, despite his stability and kindness, could never emulate. Meanwhile, outside of Hope's romantic turmoil, Lee struggled to manage Luna, as Sheila began to recognize the extent of her granddaughter's malevolence. Luna, in her distorted perception, believed she was carrying a miraculous child destined to transform not only her own life but also the lives of those around her. This delusion was on the verge of colliding violently with reality, as Luna's schemes, deceit, and manipulations were set to erupt in unpredictable ways. Meanwhile, as this tension escalated, Liam reasoned with Hope and Carter that if Carter genuinely loved her, he should be selfless enough to release her so she could reconnect with Liam, the father of her child. Although Liam presented this argument as noble and almost rational, Carter was not persuaded that it was either original or just. While Carter did not have a child with Hope, he was engaged to her, sharing a future, promises made, and trust given. It hurt deeply that Liam was using Beth as a pawn in his argument, reminding Hope of the family they had already formed. Nevertheless, the emotions Hope experienced upon witnessing Liam embrace their daughter were undeniable. Carter, standing aside, could not help but scowl at the image of the family unit he had nearly become a part of, only to realize how precarious his position truly was and how easily he could be erased from the scene. As this love triangle simmered, Auntie Grandma Lee was becoming increasingly exasperated with Luna's fixation on boys and her dreams of becoming a miraculous mother, unaware of the extent to which Luna had already ventured. Luna's infatuation with Will Spencer was not simply an innocent crush. It had evolved into a perilous delusion that had already breached boundaries. Sheila, in her distinctive role, was aware that there was more to the narrative involving Luna and Will, and she suspected the full, dark reality of Luna's actions. However, because she could not disclose that Luna was alive without jeopardizing her own fabrications, Sheila found herself constrained, compelled to sit on a volatile cache of secrets while Luna became increasingly audacious and reckless. As these intertwined dramas unfolded, Will and Electra received an invitation to the guest house at the Forrester mansion for a special evening, an arrangement that promised romance but also threatened to reopen old wounds and traumas. Will still bore the burden of the horrifying realization that the girl he had drunkenly slept with after the Il Giardino party was not his girlfriend Electra, but rather a mysterious impostor. This was a truth he shared with his mother, Katie, expressing his dread over the implications if Electra were to discover it. Yet, Katie, ever the protector, sharply interrupted him, insisting that he should never dwell on this mystery girl again, that the past was behind him, and that silence was his only refuge. Even as Will felt deep down that the mystery girl was still out there, thinking of him, still obsessed, still scheming, that mystery girl was none other than Luna, whose infatuation with Will grew stronger with each passing day, reinforcing her distorted belief that fate had intertwined their lives. Yet, in stark contrast to this impending threat, Hope, yearning for clarity, found herself caught between two men Carter, who symbolized stability, loyalty, and a future free from the relentless cycles of betrayal, and Liam, who embodied passion, history, and the father of her child. The gravity of her decision became apparent when she brought Beth with her to the Forrester offices, allowing her daughter to play among the clothing racks while she engaged in an open conversation with Ivy. Ivy gently reminded her that the entire family had once feared they would lose Liam forever, that grief and desperation had brought them together, and that when the truth emerged about Grace fabricating Liam's brain tumor for financial gain, it was a relief, indeed, but also a stark reminder of life's fragility. Perhaps, just perhaps, Hope should treasure what she had with Liam before it was too late again. Encouraged by this, Liam dedicated himself to demonstrating his commitment, expressing to Beth and Hope with a joy he hadn't experienced in years that they meant more to him than anything else. These words struck Hope's heart deeply, while Carter stood nearby, unnoticed and unwanted, his frown deepening as he recognized that Liam was gradually erasing him from Hope's life with every affectionate embrace, every cherished memory, and every family moment that excluded him. As Hope wrestled with her decisions, Will found himself confronting his own turmoil, getting ready for his first intimate evening with Electra, who softly told him that he was everything she had ever wished for, their night unfolding in a blur of candlelight and desire, only for Will to be plagued by flashbacks, snippets of that evening with Luna, memories he attempted to bury but which clawed their way into his awareness at the most inopportune times, threatening to fracture the delicate bond he was trying to establish with Electra. Meanwhile, across town, Luna was scheming her next move, convinced that she bore within her a miraculous child conceived from that night, a child she believed would forever connect her to Will, oblivious to the havoc her obsession was already wreaking. Thus, as the scene was set for the next day's episode, two relationships hung precariously on the brink of collapse. Hope's engagement to Carter was at risk from Liam's relentless pursuit, and Will's emerging romance with Electra was jeopardized by secrets, deceit, and a perilous girl who refused to let go. All the while, Sheila observed from the shadows, aware that the storm was merely beginning and that when it finally erupted, no one in Los Angeles would emerge unscathed.